We're three best friends, and we love Lost, and we love talking, but even more so, we love talking about Lost. So join us for some laughs, good conversation, and let's get lost together. Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Get Lost with your Oceanic 3. I'm Kip, one of three best friends, and I have Amanda across from the table today.
Hello.
And to my right, the lovely Teresa.
Hey.
And today we're talking about episode 15?
16,
Outlaws. Can we get a synopsis?
Just thinking of a song.
What did you say?
There's this episode. There's just this show called The Fosters where the guy sings a song called Outlaws.
That's what I was thinking too.
Okay, that's what we're talking about today. But Outlaws, episode 16, written by Drew Goddard and directed by Kip's favorite director, Jack Bender.
Jack Bender.
In the middle of the night, a wild boar steals the tarp that Sawyer has been using for his roof. Sawyer enlists Kate to help him track the boar down, but she takes advantage of his situation by asking for something in return. While Kate and Sawyer hunt down the animal, Charlie's strange behavior causes Hurley to suspect he's suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Not a bad synopsis.
I was just going to say, time for our newest segment. Let's destroy the synopsis.
No, I just think it's important to really look into all aspects of the show, including the official synopses. That one's not that bad.
No.
But still, like, quite robust.
So now, can I interest you guys in some stats and trivia?
Of course.
Always.
All right, so guess the rating on IMDb.
Sawyer's pretty popular, so I'm thinking 8.8.
Teresa?
8.2.
8.5.
Oh.
It's pretty high.
I'm the closest without going over, though, right? Like, that's Price is
We don't
Right
pay
rules.
those rules.
Oh.
We're actually both
No one
in
got
the
it
middle.
wrong.
I was in the middle.
I mean, no one got it right. You both got it
You
wrong.
both got it wrong. Everyone got it wrong.
Everyone's wrong.
Price is Right rules. I'm the closest
But it was right in the middle. Isn't that kind of funny when you think about it?
Yeah.
So, amazing.
Sorry.
That was your version
Yeah, that was
of
your amazing.
amazing.
Well, you know what? I like to win sometimes, and y'all taking this away from me.
Okay. Viewers, 17.87 million viewers this week. A little bit down from last week, but still really, really high. And we're on days 29 to 31 on the island. So we spanned 3 days this week. So they're really getting up there. I only counted 2 nicknames, and I feel like that's low. I think I might have missed some.
What do you have?
I have Muhammad and Sassafras.
I only heard
There's one more.
sassafras.
There's Sheriff.
Okay, yeah, I suppose Sheriff. And do we count Boar Expert? When he calls Kate that?
I think
When I heard that, I was like, is that going to be one of the nicknames?
Yeah, I know.
Boar expert.
Thank
No.
you, Boar Expert.
Sassafras was my one the only one I actually heard. I think I've blocked out the like
racist
Mohammeds
ones, yeah.
and things like that. Like in my mind, those don't exist. I can't hear them any further.
Yeah, probably a good thing.
Yeah, but sassafras was kind of funny.
I like
I don't
that
really
one
know what
too.
that means.
Me neither, actually.
If anyone knows what that
I feel like it has something to do with soda pop.
No, you're thinking sarsaparilla.
Oh,
Right?
What's sassafras?
Because, I don't know. I said
Am I going to be
sarsaparilla,
mad at
not
myself for
sassafras.
Googling it?
okay. No, I want to know what it is
Okay,
now.
sassafras.
Sarsaparilla
My last
is
Google
root beer.
was Adam Driver.
That
I want to make it very clear that I was Googling images of Adam Driver to send to my coworker. Sassafras is some sort of plant.
Oh,
It is a genus of 3 extant and 1 extinct species of deciduous tree. It's a tree. It's a type of tree. So why was he calling her sassafras?
Yeah, I don't like that explanation. Make it something cooler, Amanda. Sassafras.
Sassafras. I got nothing. I think it's better if we think it's sarsaparilla, which I think is the thing that root beer has.
It tastes like root beer.
Ooh, I don't like
tastes
root beer.
like root beer.
I
You don't like root beer?
Ooh, no, it's
Ooh.
too tart.
Wait, what?
So when you go to A&W, which I know you fucking love,
I love
you get your
A&W.
veggie burger, your onion rings, and what?
Just a bottle of water.
Ew.
What?
Are you joking?
I'm not joking.
A bottled water?
Yeah, I don't like how their drinks don't have ice in them.
But the cup, if you go there and you get the frosty glass.
No,
That's
I
true.
do agree. I don't like.
I like the frosty glass,
Yeah.
but
drive-through.
we don't normally eat in.
Yeah.
Actually, we haven't in a long time.
Okay, well we need to go.
You get the frozen root beer.
Oh, I won't do it.
What? It's like a Slurpee.
It's so good. There was a while they were 2 for whatever.
It's
we got them all the
tart.
time.
I've never
Oh,
heard anyone
ugh.
describe root beer as
Too
tart.
rooty.
Too
Okay.
rooty and
Too
not enough
sarsaparilla-y.
berry. Okay.
I like a good sassafras.
Wait, what's sassafras again?
A
Tree.
deciduous
It's a tree. It's really a letdown of an
Yeah.
explanation.
And
All
like
right.
why now I'm like I can
When
try
did,
to
when
remember
did you call her
at
sassafras?
one point when they were
Yeah,
out
in the woods.
Okay, so sassafras is a plant.
I
We
literally
already.
just did
What?
this.
Where
It's
have
used
you
to make
been?
medicine. Well, because she read the genus, whatever.
It's an extant and extinct type of
Genus.
Yeah. So this one
Don't
says
correct for that.
the root bark is used to make medicine. Despite serious safety concerns, sassafras is used for UTIs, swelling in the nose, throat, syphilis, bronchitis, blood pressure in older people, gout, arthritis, skin problems, and cancer.
Whoa. So everything.
It's also a hallucinogen.
Oh.
That's also known as MDA.
MDA. So not quite.
MDMA.
No, not MDMA, just MDA.
No extra.
What's the M for?
It's methylene dioxamphetamine.
That sounds terrifying.
You might also hear it called sass or Sally.
Oh.
Oh, is
Hey.
that why?
Got any Sally?
Yeah, and MDMA is Molly.
Oh, Molly.
Is that ecstasy? I don't know anything about drugs.
but fun
I
fact.
legitimately know
This
nothing about
week's
drugs.
episode of pharmaceutical no nothings.
So there's a difference between root beer and sarsaparilla. I've just deep dived.
Oh my god.
Because someone asked, is sassafras still used in root beer? So sarsaparilla was made from the sarsaparilla vine, while root beer roots of the sassafras trees.
So sassafras is root beer
Yeah, I
connected,
guess.
but not sarsaparilla.
Well, sarsaparilla tastes like root beer. Isn't that what it is?
But it's not used in root beer?
I don't think so.
What's sarsaparilla used for?
Okay, well, hold on.
Now we gotta Google
No,
sarsaparilla.
yeah.
I'll be back to Googling my Adam Driver photos if anyone needs me. He is a very attractive man.
Okay, sarsaparilla
Beg to differ.
I know.
is a soft drink originally made from the vine, blah, 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 similar in flavor to root beer.
I think
Okay.
it's like a southern root beer.
Oh, the South.
Southeast Asian.
Oh. We were
also-
thinking a different
No,
South.
that's sassafras is Asian.
No, this says sarsaparilla is a soft drink originally made from the vine
Similac?
Similac ornata,
Don't think it's
or other species of smilax, such as Smilax officialis. In most Southeast Asian countries, it is known by the common name sarsi, and the trademark
Sarsi?
sarsi and sarse.
There's a Sarsi Trail in Calgary, a major roadway.
Oh, it's similar in flavor to root beer.
We are heading down a very odd path, so I'm going to stop us,
On this week's episode of Lost.
and I'm gonna read you trivia.
Trivia,
okay?
trivia.
All right.
What is sarsaparilla? What is
First question.
sassafras?
Question number 1.
Okay.
True or false?
Oh, I love these. I love true or false.
When this episode aired, the Boston Red Sox had in fact won the World Series.
Hold on.
You're not getting the answer from your Curb Your Enthusiasm knowledge.
I wasn't trying to.
Oh, they talk about it.
Okay, you have 3 seconds.
True. I mean, Walt. True.
Correct. So when they filmed it, they hadn't won. And there's like something where they hadn't won in like 200 years. And then when it aired, by the time it aired, they had won. And it was like this once in a lifetime thing.
I was thinking about that movie Fever Pitch.
Never seen it.
It's like similar where like one of the characters is like in love with the Red Sox, and they had never won, and then when they filmed it, they actually did win, and so they like
Fever Pitch came out in 2005, so it would have been around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
I remember them winning, and it was this huge deal everywhere.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
oh
Okay.
my god, I got one right.
Good job,
Job,
Teresa.
Again.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Which? Okay. Oh. Okay. So at some point, Sawyer says, "I don't wear cologne." Kate replies, "Yes, you do." Josh Holloway was a model for a cologne brand. Which brand did he model for?
Dun, 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 dun. Armani.
Incorrect.
Walt. Hugo Boss.
Incorrect.
Oh no.
I don't know.
Cool Water by Davidoff.
I've never heard of that.
heard of that in my life. Yeah,
that's
that's how I look like.
hilarious.
I googled the images.
Were they hot?
Well, they're just very early 2000s.
BRB.
No.
And there's a commercial too.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Wow.
you should watch that.
Yeah, it was good. All in the name of research, right, Kippy?
Yeah, exactly. All right, third and final question.
Okay.
Which country did Josh Holloway drift into while trying to break into modeling, where he was almost homeless and starving?
Oh my God.
I don't know.
It's in Europe.
Drift into, like on water?
I'll explain
I don't really
after.
understand.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Germany?
No, Italy.
I just guessed
So
a country.
he like jumped trains because he had no money. And
Oh.
He jumped a train and ended up in Italy and ended up like stealing food to survive.
Oh my
and
God.
learned Italian.
Oh, speaks Italian.
You guys, I have more important trivia.
Did you
I
find?
found the images, and
Okay.
first of all, like, I mean, he's a work of art. What can you say?
Oh my God. Okay.
But the other thing that I discovered is that my second greatest love of all time also
Adam
modeled
Driver?
for them, not Adam Driver. Adam Driver was like a child when this happened.
Who?
Paul Walker. Look at this sexy ass Paul
Wow.
Walker ad.
Oh wow.
Like, come on.
So,
anyway, same
wow.
campaign.
Like, where's the Josh Holloway one?
Oh yeah,
Still-
Josh Holloway
still
one
waiting
is
for that
really
one.
good too. I mean, like, come on.
There. Oh, I saw a different one.
Oh,
Was it this one?
No, I don't.
I don't like
one.
that one at all. No, I don't.
Maybe we'll throw some of these up on our social
Yeah.
media because you guys should all enjoy
Do a
these.
poll. Which one is
But
the best?
anyway, Josh Holloway, hot. Paul Walker, equally hot, but dead.
Oh boy.
Amanda.
Well, it's fact.
Jesus.
Alrighty. Well, that's it for the opening act of this episode of
Which
Let's
means
Get Lost.
we can get into the real meat of the episode, which is Teresa's stream of conscience.
Teresa's stream of consciousness.
Also, episode 16, Outlaws. I am nervous as we are watching this as a group again. Island, please help Amanda and I. This recap is very uncomfortable. Oh, I don't want to see this. Poor Sawyer. Oh my God, I don't like this. This is terrifying. Also, how big is that bed? There's so much room under there. She didn't call the police yet? I mean, how is Sawyer honestly not more effed up? This whole thing is giving me horror movie vibes. This poor child. Holy, please don't tell me he does it in the kid's bed. And he did. Is Sawyer okay? Wow, this is horrifying. And hello, abs. Oh dear, the boar is back. Wait, he hit it with a bat? Is that a bat? Oh wow, Sawyer. Also, either these people wake up super fast and got right up, or they were already awake and saw this whole thing happen. Not these damn whispers again. I wonder if they're saying, ooh, look at that body. Ooh, look at that body. Oh, look at his little home. It's all broken. Ah, great. Now Locke's gonna be the suspect. I don't remember why Sayid and Sawyer aren't friends, but Sawyer seems troubled this episode. Oh, is this how they bond? Do you know what they said, Sawyer? Do they always say the same thing? I don't know why I don't know more of this. Ew, oh my God, who's watching? Ew, his name is Hips? Higgs? I would not come back for this, ma'am. I would just straight dip out. This is wrong. Oh dear, what's their problem? Well now, Jack, now we know he's not the killing type. Take that. What Tampa job? Is there booze in that room? Oh, there is. I guess he has some if he's living there. What's a shrimp truck? Oh my God, is this Frank Duckett? Oh, Frank Sawyer. That guy doesn't seem like the kind of guy who does what we think he does. I gotta say, how is everyone's hair so nice? Like, come on, y'all on an island. Why do I look ragged all the time? I don't live on an island. Aw, and these two are besties again. Great. Jack and Kate. Jade. Like, what's with these two? Jack, y'all ain't together. Let her do what she wants. You just don't want your property to be kissing someone else. Is that a shoe measure thing that Charlie's playing with? Or I guess not. I don't know. Why is Charlie so distant today? What's happening right now? Did we not learn our lesson about walking around the jungle alone, Sawyer? Oh, look, there's your tarp. You know, I'm liking all of these walking angles. Go back around, excuse me? What's with this boar? Personal vendetta? Ugh. Sawyer, your tarp. Don't leave it. Oh, he's so dirty. Time for a wash, Sawyer. Can we help? Sorry, I like Sawyer and Kate's interaction more than Jade's. There's more, I don't know, joy and humor and less wishy-washy back and forth BS. I mean, it really does seem like the boar is after him, like picking on the injured one. Wait, is his name Hips or Higgs? Or Hips? Why is it Hips? It gives me joy that Australia also has colorful money. Does Sawyer already know how to use a gun at this point? Oh, ew, Ethan. Okay, yes, Hurley, he would come back. He's not human. Hurley, it's me and you, bro. I'll hang back and we can die together. Oh, he was building a shovel. That's what it was, not for shoes. Oh, Hurley's such a sweetheart. He just knows that he doesn't know much about a lot of things, so he seeks it out from, experts. Like, no offense, Boone, but you can't just be jumping in wherever. Know your shit. Also, how long does she get carte blanche for? I think you might want to figure that out in this negotiation, Sawyer. Like, these two are way cutie and more flirty. Like, Jack is just heavy breathing around her and bossing around and shit. Oh my god, I want to play Never Have I Ever. Like, how cute are these two right now? Like, you actually smile and you root for them. Also, did you never play Never Have I Ever in high school? All right, here are my answers. Drink. No drink. 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 Okay. No drink. Drink. How are people just taking shots of vodka like it's no big deal? No comment. No drink. Oh, Kate's married. What's Jack gonna do now? No drink. Oh, and they know each other so much more than Jate. Fuck those guys. Okay, cuties. Oh, his eyes, though. Seriously, how's no one flinching at these shots? No drink. I have killed no one. Oh, shit, these two. How did he know, though? He just knows. This went from cute to kind of awkward. Anyway, back to the cute stuff. Never have I ever sewn up a man? Never have I ever sniffed a pixie stick? Oh, my God. What happened? Are you okay, Sawyer? I mean, y'all are besties in the making, and this boar, oh my god. You can't say it's not true now. Oh, hey, Locke, is that a mango or a starfruit? What are we eating today? Peed on his shirt, took it out and peed on it. That's clearly targeted. These two, though, oh great, more Locke stories. Oh, he's wise, though. Are we not going to run out of these things soon, like the coffee and the cups? Man, let's enjoy the luxuries while we can, guys. We're going to take this for granted. Also, can Locke's story be more sad, like his sister died? So what's the boar trying to tell Sawyer? This man really doesn't seem like the kind of dude who would kill someone. Like, why wouldn't he be more rich and, not running some random shrimp truck in Australia? Okay, yes, your name, James, yes. My heart, his eyes are so glassy, I can't. What kind of shrimp truck is this? Is it pan-fried? Asian? Shrimp and hot sauce with the peel still on? I know that voice. La gasp. That's Sawyer and Christian. I really hate watching people drink up close. What brings Christian to Sydney again? Is that why we call Australia that? How do you charge someone at the end of the day for a full bottle? Oh, he was. Oh, so he did get fired. Okay, that's clear. I like Australia. I wouldn't say it's hell. I like the footy in the background. Okay, authentic. Christian, I wish Jack knew this. Christian, he needs to know. You should probably tell him. I wish he knew. My heart. Oh, the words we want to say never can. It's so sad. Sawyer, it won't. It really won't. Revenge is never easy and is never worth it. So maybe Kip, we should write this for a joint book? Oh my God. Has anyone watched those folks in Hawaii break open the coconuts in like 5 seconds? I think Charlie needs to learn that. Geez, Charlie, we're all very chill about the fact that people are being killed, dying, and killing other people. Wisdom from Saeed, though. When does my wisdom kick in? Ever? No? Maybe? Where did Locke go? What's a wallow? I'm really jealous of Kate's arms. Damn, I gotta get to the gym. Is that a baby? Please don't kill the piglet. It's so small. Oh my god, do not use that baby. The dad's gonna kill you. Or the mom. They'll all kill you. Okay, good job, Kate. Plus 50. What Sawyer was doing was no bueno. Oh god. Anything in rain is never good. It's gonna be dramatic. Oh dear, and now he's killed him. Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Sawyer, no, oh my god, no, oh my god. Oh, that's what he's hearing in the whispers. Oh, no. Wait, when did Sawyer get cleaned up? Or did the mud just kind of smear around a little more? I don't enjoy this standoff between Sawyer and the boar. He can't do it. He's not going to do it. He didn't do it. His eyes are beautiful. All right, so are we back to Joy now? Okay, so we got Jen and Son. We got Michael and Steve or Scott. Does anybody remember which one died again? Okay, we got Walt and Finton. Ugh. Why won't anyone take a walk with me? Frickin' Claire and Charlie. Wait, should I use the podcast as my new dating service? Anyway, do they have washing powder for clothes? Jack, he's not serious. Calm down. What's your damage? I don't like him this episode. He's such a territorial piece of shit. Oh my god, when Sawyer realizes, Sawyer, tell him. Or is that awkward? Should you tell him? Maybe you should. Maybe we'll table this for when Jack's not giving you weird face. Oh, okay. I guess that's it. The end.
That's it.
I did feel like the episode ended like very.
I'm so
oh no, it's all good. The episode ended like really like
Abruptly.
weirdly.
I agree.
I was kind of waiting for a cliffhanger, but
Yeah.
no,
Or
it was
anything.
abrupt.
It was
I
just
think
kind of like.
the last, we'll get into, but I think the last couple episodes have just been so rough. And I think we miss that in TV nowadays, right? Because when we have these like 8, 10, 12 episode seasons, there usually is a little bit of a lull in the beginning to get into it. But then it's just basically like an uphill climb towards the end usually. And I think we talked about in the past that like with these 24, 25 episode seasons, you need more of that ebb and flow.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're kind of getting here. And again, more of a character driven episode.
Exactly. It's not always going to have a cliffhanger.
Yeah. But before we get into our usual banter and obviously very scientific review of the episode, we need to hear what our first timer thought of a Sawyer centric episode. So here he is, Dan, with Dan's hot take.
Welcome, Dan.
Hello.
Good to have you here.
Thank
as
you.
Usual. I'm not going to film this today, but one of my great joys is watching Teresa react to Dan's hot take because they see eye to eye on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And Teresa always gives these movements like, and I just love it.
I'm not gonna react today.
Oh, you will. You won't be able to help
Yeah,
yourself.
good luck.
Yeah. All right. So, Dan, what did you think of Outlaws, the Sawyer episode?
I thought it was good. If we look at the last, not so much the last episode, but the episodes before that as kind of being what we termed filler or slower. Not that they were bad in a way, but this was definitely a return to the more surprise, a few more kind of cutting edge storylines. Kept you guessing. So I definitely liked that. I like that they kind of play with the two different styles in the show, and this is keeps you guessing. It keeps you on your toes.
What was the standout moment for you?
Standout episode or standout moment of the episode. Oh boy. See, I think the standout episode would have been Sawyer finding out that the person he killed wasn't who he thought he was. And he's been conned. So kind of the con man's been conned by a con man. Like there's such a breakdown there of maybe the system that Sawyer was working in. So I thought that was really interesting. Obviously, it was really sad. I didn't enjoy, that someone had to lose their life for him to kind of discover that what he was doing was wrong and that he's being manipulated just as much as he's manipulating people.
By Hibbs.
By Hibbs.
Oh,
What an
Hibbs.
odd,
Hibbs.
very odd name.
Yeah.
In this episode, and I have in my notes here, Kate is very reasonable in this episode and very level-headed and actually speaks as the voice of reason, especially to Sawyer, when she offers to help him hunt that boar. And when she says, the two that just don't, Sawyer says to Kate that they're the two that just don't belong, and they kind of have that bonding moment. It definitely makes sense because you can tell that they're very much going forward with a storyline of Jack and Kate or Sawyer and Kate. And so Kate, they're really, I think, trying to make her into a multifaceted character where there's a side of her that can only be true when she's with Sawyer, and there's a side of her that only can be true when she's with Jack. Now, I'm trying to think what else. There were some just random parts in this episode, like when they're burying Ethan and they zoom in on his hand. I don't know why, but I just expected him to come back alive. I expected his
Oh, because
hand
they were
to
talking
move.
about zombies 2 seconds before that.
Probably, yeah. So, I mean, there was just some little moments. Or when Sawyer is in his tent and you see shaving cream on the nightstand. And yet you have to laugh because, I mean, we have two Sawyer experts here. Is there ever a time that he's clean shaven? So he just, I guess
He's a hoarder.
he's just hoarding
I
it.
hadn't noticed.
Yeah, because I mean, and we do see that and I did like that, how they kind of addressed the practicality of where is he getting these items, and then you actually see him combing through the wreckage, and then you find him, he has a liquor stash because he's been going through the wreckage. Those are the types of storylines that I think are strong when it's a, crash disaster on an island. story or show. So I like that. Now, when Sawyer meets Jack's dad in Australia, that was very ominous, and it was sad because in the end you end up finding that Jack's dad had a lot of remorse for maybe the way that he raised Jack and the way that he treated Jack. Obviously doesn't excuse how he treated him, but then those final moments of regret that Sawyer at this point in the show has chose not to share with Jack. And I thought that was really sad. But again, it's not really your place when, we're still only about 4 or 5 weeks in on the island here.
Day 31.
Yeah, so you're only a month in knowing these people, so who knows if you'd actually, that's a pretty personal topic. So maybe that'll come out in the end. But as the episode progressed, I really, once again, really like Saeed. He's a good friend. He's upfront about his flaws, and I think that's what we found out earlier, is that he knows where he's flawed, and that's why he can talk about something like PTSD, or when he knew he was flawed and he could remove himself and he says, I have to go because, I don't want to let this happen again. So I think he knows that he's a flawed person, but that also just plays into why he's such a good person, because it just makes those good parts that much better for Saeed. I would like to also just thank Kate for this episode where she stops Sawyer from tormenting the piglet.
There's the snaps.
Oh, shit.
Teresa's snapping. She's reacting.
Okay, I appreciate that,
trying
but
to not
I
react.
just feel like you threw that in there.
No, but it's true.
No, because
though.
I have that
nice,
written in my notes. Good on Kate to
Yeah.
kick Sawyer while he is tormenting the
I'm going to
piglet.
thank her for the episode.
Yeah,
Okay?
I'd like to thank Kate for
Like-
this episode.
No, and I
Yeah,
think
great
that just
job not letting him kill a tiny, defenseless, adorable pig. Kate's a fucking hero.
But I think this is where this is a good episode for Kate. There are really no drawbacks to the Kate life.
To the Kate life. We have hashtag Kate life now.
Hashtag Kate life is something that cannot
And
be allowed to stand.
Kip will be able to attest to this,
Oh.
is that I sometimes there's a lot of storylines going on here.
Yes.
So, and I'm trying to make notes, and so sometimes I might miss something. Now, it's my understanding that Kate did not lie once to Sawyer during the drinking contest, correct?
That we
Correct.
know of.
That we know of at this point.
So then that's where I come back to that in this episode, Kate seems to be flawless, if we want to call it that she seems to...
We don't want to.
She seems to be a good friend to people on the island. She seems to want to help out where she can help
Sure,
out.
it helps
And
her,
in this
sure.
episode, I would say this is actually a very positive Kate episode. So
Yeah.
Go Kate.
I have many thoughts on it as well. I like Kate in this episode more than I usually do, but I think we're going a little far to call her flawless and to create a hashtag about her and to thank her for the episode.
We'd like to thank hashtag Kate life.
We'd like
so-
to thank the flawless hashtag Kate life.
So
Kate
Dan,
Austin.
what would you give this episode out of 10?
this episode would be an 8 out of 10.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your thoughts.
See you next week.
That's been Dan's Hot Take.
That's nice.
That was really nice.
That was nice. That was pleasant.
It was.
All right. Well,
And that leads us into the episode, which I think we're all excited for because it is a
Yes.
Sawyer episode.
I think this is the first episode that's opened with a flashback.
No, the one with Jack getting. beat
Oh,
up.
right. And I think we say that every time.
I think we can agree that it's rare
Yes.
for them to open with a flashback.
Yeah, oops.
And again, we get a good one here. And
Yeah.
this flashback is so horrifying,
It's traumatic.
Awful.
Yeah.
especially because we knew at this point that he blames this Sawyer person for his mom and dad being dead.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't. It's so much different to read it and hear him read it in the letter and then to see it played out.
Yeah. And it was disturbing. Like when you see the gun go off or hear the gun go off when he's sitting on his bed and you see the foot twitch, like, wow. Yeah. Very harsh.
Yeah. The reality is that Sawyer is a dick. Like, we've always, as much as people are like, oh, you forgive him because he's hot. I don't. I don't excuse a lot of what he does. But, and nothing is an excuse, right? But it does give you some insight into why he is the way he is. And being that young and hearing your mom get shot and then essentially seeing your father take his own life on your bed.
On your bed while you're under it.
So
Oh, yeah.
terrifying.
Well, it adds depth. And like depth isn't always a good thing. Like it doesn't always necessarily lead to positivity, but it adds character and dimension, and it just gives us insight, like you say, into who he is and what's made him the way he is.
And context, right?
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
So, I mean, that's a part of it. It's like, this is like Sawyer is the way he is for reasons. Everyone is the way they are for reasons.
Yeah.
And I don't like how he is, but I can appreciate that he got to this place for certain reasons. And
Yeah.
we're seeing that kind of develop today.
That scene, it wasn't a bad. I think it was just like some metal pole he found in the wreckage that he waxed the boar with.
Yeah, I was like, is this a bat?
I thought it was a bat at first too.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a hilarious scene. Like, especially when he goes running after it, just yelling and just grunting. I thought that was so funny. Just like that is so in character for Sawyer, just to like bolt after it and just his anger just goes haywire.
Agreed.
It was funny.
It's out of control. He's reactive, right? And again, it's like these stories are told for reasons, right? And so we see that Sawyer has a hard time with letting go and with this idea of righting wrongs and this and that, right? And so we see that in this, you know, and clearly a frustration. And all we know at this point is that, well, we don't know anything at this point, but all we know by the end of this episode is that he takes the life of someone who isn't the man he's looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
And like Dan says, like he was conned into killing someone, which I can't wait to talk about that further.
Yeah. So it's interesting because we see kind of why this idea that he cannot accomplish, and there's nothing, I guess we don't know at this point that he hasn't yet figured out his shit, but I think it's heavily implied that like that went wrong, and that was why he was in Australia.
Yeah.
So we do kind of know, right, without it being explicitly stated, that he hasn't accomplished what he wants to accomplish, and this is just another kind of stark reminder of he's not able to.
And then he hears the whispers, and you do hear the whispers saying, "We'll come back around," or "It'll come back around."
Yeah.
And that we hear the guy he kills say to him later on in the episode. So that's interesting. So it's like, are the whispers real? But then we also know Saeed heard them. And why are they saying things that relate to what Sawyer has gone through? So
what are these whispers?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we don't know.
And we do see Sawyer kind of try to talk to Saeed about it.
Can we? Yeah, let's talk about that scene for a minute, because like, I liked Saeed's little interaction with like kind of like he was enjoying it, because Sawyer very rarely, you know, is like congenial with others. Like he's very often butting heads and playing the bad guy, being, you know, wants people to hate him for whatever reasons, but it was good to see like a reason that was light in reality. Like, no, it sucks having your shelter destroyed on an island, but no one was hurt. Nothing was like stolen. It wasn't personal that we know of at this point. So to see Saeed just sort of like rib him a little bit about like this boar that's, and we see it again later with Kate doing it too, but like, I thought it was pretty funny to see Saeed sort of like kind of playing with him a little bit.
Yeah. And cause you're right. Like, at Sawyer's best, he's a loner and he keeps to himself, and his worst, he's a psychopath. Yeah. So like, we don't often see kind of this like playful, and even just the way he's going after the boar is a little bit more on the playful side, and a little bit less on the I'm being a dick to be a dick side, right? So it is kind of nice to see him and connect with people, or at least try to kind of connect with people, and kind of take it from there.
Yeah, you see people connecting with him over this, which is interesting. Because maybe people were feeling a little bad for him because his tent's been destroyed by a freaking boar. And then, okay, so what leads me to this is, though, like, why do you think he dropped it with Saeed about the whispers? Like, why do you think he didn't want to talk about it more when Saeed asks him if he heard something? And then he just basically says, forget about it.
Because I think that Sawyer just doesn't like being vulnerable in any way. And he doesn't like to have to explain himself. He doesn't like to have to rely on people. And so when Saeed's not really giving him exactly the info he needs or wants, I don't think he wants to give. It's the same with that last scene, you can see too.
Sawyer, you're right. Sawyer doesn't like to be vulnerable.
No, he doesn't like to be vulnerable. And like, I think when he opens up a little bit and then he doesn't get what he wants in return, it like sends him back a bit.
Yeah.
And Saeed was kind of being like, he was talking to him and stuff, but I don't think Sawyer likes the idea of being duped.
Yeah.
I don't think he likes the idea of being stupid or being like, so he doesn't like putting him out there. And I like can understand he's a con man, and like we said here, he got conned himself a lot. So it's the same reason he doesn't like the board getting the like best of him. He doesn't like being anyone getting the best of him.
I have a question. And I don't know if this is for Spoiler Island or if this is for some diehards out there who can help me out.
Okay.
Do we ever find out what the Tampa job was? Because it sounded intense.
I don't remember.
I don't either, but I feel like when people talk about, you know how people are always like, oh, there's a lost sex there, so many unanswered questions. I feel like I never hear about that one being one of them.
Well, and if it's not the end of the world because it's not like integral to the story. But I would love to know about the Tampa job because to me it makes me think of like some like Gone in 60 Seconds kind of deal, like just this crazy job that went sideways. I want that spinoff.
I agree.
Sawyer in his con days.
But I always thought that would be like a cool spin-off.
It would be.
Because he's so cool.
Make it happen, Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing all sorts of crazy shit. They
Yeah.
might as well do this.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
no, that was interesting. But, like, I mean, that's fucked up when you
Yeah.
think about what that guy did.
Oh my God. Are you drinking?
Okay, so that hotel room was weird because I also thought about... Teresa has her hand up. Yes, Teresa, you have a question or an answer?
An answer. A Sawyer flashback focusing on the Tampa job was originally filmed for the episode Adrift, but it was later replaced by a stupid fucking Michael flashback because the producers didn't like it. The cut flashbacks have never been released.
It was filmed?
Apparently.
Like, it said filmed or written?
Kim's face right now.
Originally filmed.
It's
David
out
Lindelof,
there?
we demand the release of the Tampa job tapes.
Release the Tampa job tapes.
Fun
Yes.
fact.
Senior.
When Matthew Fox auditioned for the part of Sawyer, he
What?
read a monologue which described a scam in Miami, Florida. It is unknown whether the monologue script has anything to do with what might have been blah, blah, blah,
The Tampa job.
Tampa job. However, any parallel seems unlikely as the Sawyer background in this audition differs greatly from the background of Sawyer.
Wow, I actually didn't know Matthew Fox read for Sawyer.
No, I didn't know that either. You learn something new every day.
You bested us.
Lost Wiki.
Yep.
Last week.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, Lostopedia. What is
Yeah.
this?
Same thing.
It's
Lostopedia.fandom.com.
Yeah, so I that flashback with Sawyer and Hibbs learning about the Tampa job. It was kind of weird to me too that it was a hotel room, but he had a full bar in there.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about. And then I was like, maybe he's like living in there and like
Maybe,
they know
yeah.
when we go, you know, if you go to Vegas, you're not
That's true,
you buy
yeah.
your own booze.
And that woman was Harold Perrineau's wife.
Yes.
So the trivia from several episodes ago are now coming to fruition.
So, I mean, like, just kind of going through all the flashbacks, I guess, then at once. Like, essentially, we see him get told this information. We see him go to Australia. We see him hunt down this guy. And then he kind of chickens out.
Yeah.
But he goes back.
Well, yeah.
And he goes back
Get
because
some sage advice.
sage
from-
advice.
Yeah.
From a drunk Christian shepherd.
Oh. Okay, that was chills though. When you hear the voice, I agree with you. Like Teresa, that was just like, whoa, I know this voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just how they all kind of end up a little bit intertwined. Like we see that Jin's behind Jack in the
Yeah.
airport, and we'll see a couple other kind of moments like that. It's a very good scene.
is.
What Christian has to say is beautiful in a lot of ways. It's upsetting. Like he says at one point that he's grateful and filled with pride over Jack, and that he has more courage than he has. That's also really beautiful to me. I also think it's really nice that he accepts that the reason he isn't calling Jack is because he's weak. And it's all this kind of information that you know Jack would really want to fucking hear.
I know. And that's why it's beautiful, but it's also devastating to think that Jack will never find out what his dad thinks because his dad is dead.
Right. But it's unfortunate that Sawyer takes that moment. But again, it's that kind of going back, and now we're kind of cutting back out of the flashback, but it has to do with it. Is that, again, is kind of a similar reason to why he does what he does with Saeed in the beginning. Because you can see in his face, he's asking questions and he's thinking about it. He's concerned and he cares, maybe even a little bit.
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think he cares at this point. I think maybe he's still processing. I mean, I don't know if we should be talking about the end of the episode quite yet, but since we're on the topic, I think you want him to tell him in that moment, but he might still be unsure because he might still need to make the connection. And he's probably thinking, but if you were to hear that, wouldn't you be like, that's a huge coincidence? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like he's probably thinking, could this be that guy's son? No way. Like, what are the odds? And so he's probably still processing. I don't think he cares to tell Jack at this point. I also think it was a super dick move to point the gun at him and be joking about it, quote unquote. Like, Teresa, I was not on your side when in your stream of consciousness there.
What did I say?
You were all about Sawyer. And we're like, Jack, calm down. It's just a joke.
I don't think that's what I was saying. Calm down, too.
You never point a gun at someone.
No. I don't think that's what I was
Never.
I think I was talking about him with Kate.
No.
He's like, I genuinely think like that was I'm just going to double check.
Bring it back.
Yeah. Jack, what's your damage? I don't like him in this episode. Territorial piece of shit.
That's not the time or the place that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's at the end.
Yeah, the end.
Yeah.
But his time with Sawyer.
No, because you were like, he's clearly joking, Jack. Calm down.
No, I said he's so not serious. But then the Jack calm down is supposed to be with the Jack, what's your damage? Territorial piece of shit.
I think you're reaching.
I'm not reaching. That's what it says.
Yeah, but I guess it is your conscience. No.
You should never point a gun at someone. That's terrible.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You seemed into it. Not going to lie.
That's not
I think we've gotten to a point where now Kip assumes we're into everything Sawyer did.
Yeah.
So
No,
we're
no.
not,
It's
and I don't
not
like
okay.
that. I don't like that Sawyer doesn't tell Jack, but I do think it's because I think he's starting to care a little bit and show emotion. But then again, whenever he's like close, like he knows that would be meaningful to Jack, and he knows, and I think he gets spiteful at a certain point. Like he opens up a little bit, or he gets kind of close, or he whatever, and then like he gets almost like mad at himself, and then he's like spiteful as like a reaction to it.
I agree, and I think it's not only that. I think when he doesn't, because you're right, he opens up to someone a little bit, and then he doesn't quite get the reaction that maybe he's anticipating right away, because you can't control what other people are going to do or say. And then when he doesn't get that reaction he wants, like Jack is being Jack in this moment, being like, I told you to give me that 2 days ago. You know, like, okay, Jack, calm down to that.
I think that. I'm pretty sure that's what I meant.
I don't know, because before you said you didn't even say calm down.
Yeah, I didn't, and then I checked my notes. Just calm down.
No, I mean, like, and so Sawyer retreats a little bit back into
Yes,
himself.
100%.
And then he doesn't know how to make that bridge back.
Yeah.
And we see that several times in this episode. First with Saeed, then with Jack, and you know it's hard because he's never probably learned how to do that.
Probably not. I feel like he spent a lot of his time keeping people pretty much at arm's length,
100%.
unless he's going to bone them, and the whole time that he's boning them, I mean, he's lying to them anyway. So
Yeah, I don't think he's closer than an elbow's length at that point.
exactly. So, and I mean, I kind of get it. I mean, if you hear your mother get shot by your father and then listen to him shoot himself on your bed while you're under it, I mean, you'd have a hard time with like relationships, you know, like that's fair enough.
Yeah, and that's the exact same reason why he does everything he does, I think, and it's because he doesn't want to get close to people because he doesn't want to lose them, right?
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's good to see the depth being like discovered for Sawyer, but the reality is that his psyche is not all that difficult to understand.
Yeah.
Like he's quite transparent. He had it terrible tragedy happened to him, and he spent his whole life trying to avenge it and to keep people at arm's length so he never has to feel that way again. Right?
And then when he does, quote unquote, avenge it, it's the wrong person.
Right. Which has probably messed him up even more.
Totally. And speaking of traumatic childhoods, John Locke, with the sister dying, and then 5 years later, his foster mom dying. Like, holy. Did we just learn like a ton about John Locke and one of his Lockisms?
Just very like casually.
So casually.
I love it. Now we're just doing, this is a bouncy episode and that's fine. But that scene.
I really liked that scene.
Me too. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved when he came in. I loved Locke in this episode.
Me too.
His little like coming in. I'm like, I thought I'd come say hi. Yeah. Gives him some fucking wisdom, like he always does, and then he bounces.
What I like too is that no one questioned him about the boar, because I know that if Jack was there, he'd be like, "I thought you said that there was no more boar, but I see a boar attacking Sawyer every other day."
Yeah.
Heavy
Jack
breathing.
is not my favorite human.
You know what I mean? Like he's very quick to just be like, "Oh, why didn't what? Like what's
the answer?"
Yeah. Also, where's Boone? Where's his shadow?
Where was Boone?
No Boone in this episode.
Didn't
No Shannon.
appear either. So
And Michael and Walt barely did.
Sun and Jin too.
Y'all are rude. We'll talk about this later.
Okay. Right.
But anyway, so the whole
Let's
reason we
circle
get to the
back.
point of Locke being able to do that is because Sawyer decides he's going to go on this little adventure to track down his mortal enemy, the boar. And then he's out and about doing that. And Kate only ends up with him because her and Jack have that fucking annoying conversation where this week Jack's back on the no one needs to know about Kate's past side. When they're looking at the guns
I didn't have any problem with Jack.
This episode? Really?
Well, I mean, I liked the little interactions with him and Kate. Yes, it is different than Kate and Sawyer.
Yeah.
And that's purposeful.
Oh yeah.
But like it was interesting to hear Dan say like she's different with each person, and whether or not that's a good thing can be decided later on or talked about further. But like, it is interesting to see Jack and Kate together talking about more of like the bigger picture island things, like getting the guns back so that people are safe and it's locked up, and she can use her Kate ways to get the gun back from Sawyer. I sort of snickered at the comment about last time you tried that, you ended up making out with him, kind of thing.
Oh,
like,
I know.
that
I mean,
was
making
weird.
out is a stretch. Like,
Yeah.
There was a lot of tongue, you guys.
no, I'm not saying it was, but it's just, of course, they had to bring that up. And he's like, I don't want you to owe him anything. Like, stay the fuck out of it,
Well,
Jack.
but that's true though. Like, because as far as Jack knows, Sawyer only does things
to get something.
to get something back.
No, that's true.
So he's only reacting to Sawyer in how he knows Sawyer. And in this instant, he thinks, I don't want to put that on someone else
Right.
to owe him something to get me something. And he's just like, just forget about it. It's okay. Sawyer's, and I mean, if anything, it shows Jack giving in a little, just being like, don't worry about Sawyer having the gun. Like, he's probably not going to kill anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting to see like the perspectives on like one scene essentially, because like when you talk about it, I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, Jack just for me has like a territorial feel when it comes to him and Kate. Like, she's the one who volunteered. Let her do it if she wants to.
know.
Like, who cares? But then hearing you say it, like he's probably like, okay, whatever. But then part of me is like, come on, Jack, like, come on, like,
Let it go.
Yeah,
Let
like
it go.
it's fine. Like, who cares if they made out? Like, I didn't like that he brought it up. Like,
But
you guys aren't anything to each other. Like,
well, they are though.
But that's
What
why I
are they?
like Sawyer better for her at this stage. And that will oscillate. Again, I don't think it's a spoiler. Dan is also, having watched it for the first time, picked up on the fact that this is clearly a love triangle that's being put out into the world. So there's going to be some back and forth. It is a classic love triangle. But at this stage, I like Sawyer for her, and I think we should just keep going because there's not a ton that happens really, but they end up in the woods and they play that game of I never or never have I ever, which would be how I would have phrased it. But
Yeah, never have I ever.
That's
that game, and that scene is so good, and I will give Kate credit in that scene. I love Kate in that scene. I also think Kate's sweet and cute when she's like talking to Sawyer in the beginning. I feel like I always have to like make it clear when I don't think she's flawless. Dan's never hearing the end of that, but like she's good in this episode. She's cute, she's sweet, whatever. And that scene is real with them, and that's what I like about her with Sawyer is I don't think she lied to him at any point, like Dan kind of asked. Like, I think she's being upfront with him, and I think it's because she can. And she can't be upfront with Jack because she can say whatever she wants to Sawyer, and Sawyer's either going to be in a similar boat or he's not going to care. And Jack does oscillate on whether he's judging her for her past or wanting to more know about her past. And you just don't get that with Sawyer.
No, you don't. But Kate obviously gets something from Jack.
Yes.
Or she wouldn't be going back to him. It wouldn't oscillate.
Well, she's definitely into both. It's just, I will say from a watching perspective, I find that like when I look at Jack's interactions with Kate, it's I'm either like, oh my God, here we go again. Or I'm like, okay. But then when I'm watching like Kate and Sawyer, I'm like, Sawyer, come on. But then I'm like, oh, like their interactions.
I have no idea what you just said.
Really?
Yeah, all I heard was
It's all
sounds.
sounds. I just find that like if we're gonna go with like love triangle or whatever, Jack and Kate's romance was really only compelling like in the beginning when, you know, she was sewing him up and he's like, I mean, some of the dialogue was kind of weird with you ever sewn some curtains or whatever, but you know, like him like talking her through it was really nice. But I find that her conversations and her interactions with Sawyer are a lot more like, I feel like they could be in a relationship if they weren't so effed up. You know, having both killed a human being and all that other stuff. But their interactions, like for some reason you just root for them more because their interactions just seem more genuine than the interactions that she has with Jack, where like you always say like he oscillates back and forth between you're a killer, tell me what you know right now. But I don't want you to be with Sawyer. I want you to be with me. Tell me what I want to know right now. But I don't want you to be with Sawyer. Like, it's just very back and forth. So it's hard to be like, yeah, Jate. When I'd rather see Coyer.
Sate?
I like Sate.
Dang
Sate
it. Why am I
and
always
Jate.
wrong?
Well, one time it was Cack, and I just
So
think that
Cack and Coyer.
Jack and Coyer cannot be a thing.
that cannot be in
fine.
existence.
Jate or Sate. Like at this point in time, I prefer Sate to
Me too.
Jate.
And again, it's because, like, again, I'll tell you, there are times later on where I prefer Jack and her, right? Rarely.
Okay.
But Sawyer's good for her, and she's good for Sawyer in a way that I don't think Jack needs to be.
But is he good for her?
Sawyer?
Yeah.
No, they're terrible for each other.
So
I
then
think
why
they're
are
good
you
for each other.
rooting for them?
I'm not rooting for them. I'm saying
You
that
said you were.
I'm saying that their interactions make you root for them more than you root for Jate's.
I don't root for, first of all, I don't root for any of them.
Oh.
Really.
That's
Okay,
the
well, I want
biggest-
Kate to die alone in the ocean. So, you know I don't root for any of them.
Kate life.
Kate life. I would like there to be hashtag Kate's dead life.
No, wow.
I'm just kidding, obviously.
That's inappropriate.
I'm just
Take it
saying
back.
that I think it's funny. Obviously, I don't root for her to be with anyone. I would like her to die alone. But I'm saying that in
Oh my God.
in the pantheon of people she could be with, I prefer Sawyer because I think that I'm a big proponent. I know sometimes people are like, oh, it's good when people are different and they bring out. I think that sometimes you stick with the people that get you and understand you and support you. And I think Sawyer could support her in a way that Jack won't. Jack will never understand Kate the way that Sawyer can understand Kate.
Yeah. However, Kate is continually running away from who she is. She doesn't want to be who Kate is.
That's my biggest problem with her.
I know it is. So wouldn't it be better for her to be with someone who can help her be the other Kate?
No, she should be with someone who is like be who you are, bitch, and stop running. And that's Sawyer.
Yeah.
Right? And she can be true to herself with him in a way that she can't be with anyone else. Kate's whole life is a fucking lie.
Yeah, it is.
The only person she's truthful with is Sawyer because of whatever she feels for him.
But she doesn't want that, though.
I don't care what she wants.
I mean, the problem with wanting to be someone and being someone are two different things, right? So if she wants to be this goody-goody, whatever, I don't even know what she's trying to do with Jack, then, like, you have to commit to it more. You can't then, like, slip back into old patterns where you're lying to him every 5 seconds. No, because then who are you actually then? The person you want to be or the person you are?
Life is not black and white. Life
not
is
black
gray.
and white.
Kate
This person,
is gray.
she just lives in the
Gray
gray.
Kate.
Gray Kate. She lives in the middle, but the problem is she has someone who accepts her for who she is, and then she has someone who, depending on the day, accepts her for who she is or doesn't want her to be with someone
Sawyer
else.
doesn't know who she is. Like, yes.
He seems to know more than Jack does.
Yes. They played this drinking game and now he knows that she killed someone.
There's a reason he asked that question, though.
But like, she doesn't know he doesn't know that the marshal was there, that she was the prisoner.
No.
There's a lot of things he doesn't know.
But
like,
I don't think he would
details. He made
care.
sense.
I don't know that he would care as much. Like, and I think that's the difference. When I say
That's
root
because
for.
Sawyer's a con man. Sawyer is someone who you cannot trust, even though you can, because he is, quote unquote, real. But his whole thing is that he is someone who tricks people and takes advantage of people in his previous life, right? That's the same with Kate.
I'm a little bit on this island, and a little bit for both of them on this island.
Yeah,
Because they don't really escape who they are. That's what the island is telling us, right?
exactly.
Is that the island almost allows you to become truer versions of who you are. That's what's happening with Locke. That's what's happening with Jack. And I think it's happening with Kate and Sawyer. And I like, believe it or not, I like Kate better with Sawyer. I just think, because my whole issue from day one has always been, it's the manipulation, it's the lying, it's the scheming to get ahead. And to see her be, like, I think as Kate Hate 88, I'll tell you, I love that scene between her and Sawyer.
it's a
I love
great
almost
scene.
every scene she has with Sawyer, other than when Sawyer's forcing her to kiss him. That's disgusting.
Oh yeah.
But anytime they're like cutesy or jovial or they're helping each other, I like it a lot. I don't hate her and Jack together. I also think she's good for Jack, because I think she like expands Jack's worldview. Because Jack is exceptionally guarded and exceptionally sheltered. He's a good man. Like, everything Christian says about him is correct, but you know, he's had a very specific life view.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why he was able to turn his father in. Because to him, there's like one thing you do, and it's the right thing always, no matter what. For Kate, like you said, she's gray. And so for Kate, what the right thing is versus what she's going to do is often at odds. And I think it's good for Jack to see that as a life and a perspective.
Yeah.
I just don't know that Jack's all that good for Kate or adds anything to Kate.
That's a good point, because, what does he give her? Like, what does Kate see in Jack that keeps bringing her back to him? That's a good question, and maybe we'll find out more as we watch. But
And sometimes you can't help it. I mean, as a romantic, I think that's what's missing from the Jate relationship is the fun part of it.
Right.
Like, there's no...
Oh, but they flirt over the seeds. Remember?
See what I mean? You can't even see what the...
Icky little black things. Whatever they say.
So random.
But
their interactions either seem like really stunted or like it's so over the top that like you can't believe it.
it's almost forced.
Like when she was, what was it? She's like, "Are you checking out my ass?" I was like, when did we get to that point? Because at no point have we ever had like an interaction like that. So it just doesn't feel as like believable. That whereas like those two are always just ribbing each other. And I love that she kicks him when it comes to the piglet, because that's what he was doing was gross. It was awful. And like she just put him in his place and was like, find your own way home. If he Kate was flawless there.
Let's go back to Sawyer, because this is a Sawyer episode.
It is. I just liked seeing her
Yeah.
face. But
She was flawless in this.
No comment.
I really liked her in this episode. I think she's flawless.
Difference between liking someone and being like, she's flawless. We
didn't
just spent
say-
10 minutes discussing every fucking flaw she
You
has.
did. I said that she's flawless in this episode.
In that moment where she kicked Sawyer.
That part was good.
for her.
Fuck that
For her.
Sawyer guy.
Okay.
That's where get out of here.
Okay, let's go back. Where
Getting unhinged slowly.
we are getting on hand.
Well,
Because
I
we
mean,
started talking about Jate and
There's not a lot
Sawyer.
really more to it.
You're
though,
right. Yeah. This episode is sort of light in
Yeah.
a sense.
It is.
So we just see him kind of coming to terms with this idea that, again, it's kind of similar, I think, to the Charlie flashback episode where but almost the opposite. We get a lot more about, so as I found in the Charlie episode, the flashbacks took us a very long time to get to the very seminal point of why we were there. I actually kind of think it's flipped in this episode. I think we get more out of the flashbacks, and the on-island stuff gets us to kind of a point where we're supposed to understand the meaning more of the flashbacks. But either way, essentially it's this tie-in to he's made this big mistake off island. The one thing he's wanted in life, the one thing he's worked towards, he fucked up.
Yeah.
And now he's on the island and he's stuck there and he's being tortured by this boar, and he can't fix that either. He can't essentially what we see in this episode is that Sawyer is unable to get revenge, which means Sawyer is unable to get closure. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem for him.
Yeah, and it adds, well, going back to even hearing his or seeing his story of how he became who he is, seeing that he actually couldn't kill the boar also adds depth, because he's not just some maniac who's heartless and is just like this brain dead hick. He actually looks at that moment and basically says, I'm being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also how cute was that boar?
So cute.
Are we talking about the piglet or the actual?
Oh, the big boar.
All of them. I think boars are adorable.
What?
I love boars. I don't like oh my God. I didn't mention the most important thing.
It's a win.
You guys,
Oh my
the
God.
most important thing.
What?
I'm really nervous as to
Okay.
what
Yeah,
it's
what
going
is
to be.
it?
I know we talk a lot about how Sawyer is a bad person. Okay. And there's lots of evidence to that.
Uh-huh.
But nothing has made me more aware of how terrible of a person Sawyer is. And I have never heard a more upsetting piece of information about Sawyer other than in that game of I Never, when he says, I've never voted Democrat. I am, you want to talk about a terrible human? Ew.
Is it worse than Kate never voting at all?
I think maybe in the US. Here I would say no, but in the US it might be. But also I'm not surprised she never voted. I was like, okay, that's the most upsetting piece of information I've ever learned about Sawyer, followed by the most on-brand point I've ever heard about Kate.
like when she said that, my mind immediately went to, it's like, okay, so you must not be able to register to vote because some lie that you're living, like that you have a false identity, like there's some
You never
elaborate
realized.
reason why.
Anyway, so
Oh,
that
what's
was
your
kinda
name
funny.
That's funny.
Annie.
So I just had to bring that up. But okay, so I think we've basically kind of circled around to everything about Sawyer's kind of storyline that we need to talk about. But really quickly, I think we should talk a bit more about Charlie.
Yeah, there
Because
was
that really probably is what more people were wanting to focus on this week and hear more about. And I think it was done very well.
I agree.
I agree. But I don't think we needed to go like super, super deep into it. Like,
You know, we had a deep Charlie episode last week,
Exactly.
and it was nice to see the follow-up be just a how is he dealing with it, and not just forgotten about, because a lot of times in TV shows someone can do something that's super traumatic, like kill somebody, and just act like nothing happened. So it's nice to see that they actually dealt with it in a way that, yeah, he might have PTSD from this moment. He was a band, like a singer and a guitar player, you know, not used to doing something like taking somebody's life.
shooting them 4 times. And
It was
just-
actually 6 times.
Was it?
Yeah. Saeed or Hurley said it wrong.
Oh, Jesus.
That was in the
It was
trivia.
brutal.
Like, that's not, like, you know, you kill someone, like, you've shot him plenty enough of times. Like, you're, at that point, you're just shooting to shoot.
I did find his response to Saeed interesting. Like, I don't know if I would say it was troubling, but when Saeed's just kind of trying to talk to him, and Saeed says, like, you killed a man, and Charlie almost, like, flies off the handle, being like, and I do it again. He was awful. He killed one of us.
Yeah.
And
I didn't like that either.
I didn't either.
we know that. And you don't need to justify it. We just need to talk about how you killed someone. And that's going to, like, Saeed handled it well, saying that's going to stick with you for the rest of your life.
And that it's not like they're really, I think what Saeed's point was, like, it doesn't matter how much someone deserved it.
Yeah.
Like, you did something now. It's about what you've done and not what they've done.
'Cause he still took a life.
And at the end of the day, that shouldn't be easy for him, right? And I like that Saeed, who's probably taken a lot of lives at this point,
Yeah.
understands the importance and the solemnness of like that having happened, right? Because that's at the end of the day, I don't think anyone deserves to die. I don't think that any of the people on that island were in a position where they should have been able to make that choice. I really, we heard all about it last episode. We all agree that that was very inappropriate, and the only reason I think you should ever take a life is if you absolutely have to and there's no other reason. There were many other options for what they did. Charlie did that for revenge.
Yeah.
And he has to live with that. And I don't really like his explanation. And like you said, it's kind of flying off the handle, but I loved what Saeed said. And I really liked when Saeed said that he's not alone, so he has to stop pretending to be.
I agree. I love that comment too, because he doesn't need to be this solemn, sort of sulky guy in the background. And it's almost like, get over yourself.
100%.
There's people here who can support you.
100%.
And so just stop it.
Stop it.
Yeah. Stop it. Stop being a grumpy teen.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's what
It was good advice from Saeed.
It was.
And the thing, the one thing I'll say before we move on is that I don't agree with Ethan. Ooh, I don't agree with Ethan. That goes without saying. But I do not agree with that. I don't believe that Charlie feels the way he feels about it, the way he says to Saeed.
I think that was more, sorry.
I think he's trying to that's like his tough guy act, because I don't think that if he actually felt that way, he would be reacting the way he did, and he would be separating himself from people. And so that's the one part kind of comfort I take in is I don't actually believe he thinks he was justified. And I think he does struggle with it more.
Can I read some of my stray observations?
Absolutely.
Okay. LOL at the hiding the gun case in the grass.
Again.
I love Sawyer's angry look. I think that is very sexy.
So sexy.
Wow, I can't do that.
Helpful Hurley.
Love him.
Love Helpful Hurley.
Love helpful her.
I didn't care for that pink comment in the Never Have I Ever
I didn't either.
game. Like, Kate, what the fuck?
That was weird.
A flaw. Are you pink shaming him, Kate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Men can't wear pink?
According to Kate.
I love a man in salmon.
Yeah. So, Kate, F you.
I
on
love a
that
good
one.
salmon.
I loved today's lockism.
Oh God, yeah.
And story time with Saeed. Lots of stories today.
Yeah.
Lots of
great,
stories.
great. A lot of like Hurley picking up on what Charlie needed, the lockism,
The side
Christian
telling a story. Yeah.
And then Saeed talking to, like, it was, the whole thing was beautiful.
Yeah.
So much wisdom in this episode.
Wisdom.
So much
It was a
wisdom.
wise episode.
Yeah. And I loved all of it.
Wise.
So yeah, that leads us to, I think, before we finish
Have we
up.
forgotten anything? I feel like we have.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I have left in my noggin is how I like that Jack's whole. Sorry, I keep clicking this pen. How I like that. Remember in the previous episode, Jack was like, "We can't have a bunch of people who are strung out with guns." And then here's Sawyer, who his shit has just been like ransacked. He's got a gun. He hears rustling and he whips it out. He doesn't shoot. Doesn't do anything. He doesn't.
Right.
He doesn't do.
That doesn't prove Jack wrong.
No. I just mean like. I just like.
Oh, you
that.
guys have a hate on for Jack.
No, I don't have a hate on for Jack. I'm
You
just saying.
have a hate on for Jack. In that impersonation of Jack, whenever you two impersonate Jack, it's always like.
No, but I don't know
That's
how
how you
he's.
impersonate everyone.
I mean, that is
I like
not
Sawyer too,
accurate.
like Sawyer.
No, Sawyer. I don't think I've ever impersonated Sawyer, but it'd be more like, "Hey there."
Like a man of.
I told you
with
that's
Kate,
what
I
you
was
sounded like.
Hi. they're not
Yeah,
better.
no,
With
no.
Jack, I'm just like, whatever, you know?
No, but Teresa's had tone.
It didn't. I swear to God, I'm not trying to add tone. I'm just saying it was nice to see that Jack's whole thing about giving people guns was that you didn't want a bunch of people who were very, very, like, on edge to have guns. And then here's the guy that, you know, he was like, well, we all know who's used a gun before. And he, you know, and he didn't fire. He didn't shoot Locke. He was just kind of like, And then Locke casually strolls out.
I have to ask, what did you think of Locke's eating method of that piece of fruit?
What fruit was it? Was it star fruit?
I
It
don't know
kind of
what-
looked
I
like a
don't know
star
what
fruit,
kind of
but
fruit it
then
was,
it was
but-
like, star fruit's not that fleshy.
What did you think about the way he ate it?
I was confused because I couldn't tell, like, if I knew what the fruit was, then I could judge it more. But because I couldn't tell what the fruit was, I think it was because it was the way he was eating it, which like made it worse. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't care for his eating though.
So,
Have you guys ever eaten a mango like a hand fruit?
I don't know what a mango is.
You know what a mango is? What do you mean?
I don't know what a mango is. See? I mock you that way too.
Amanda's impressions are just all the same. Either a Valley Girl or
That's true. Valley Girl or like that Muppet guy who talks like the beaker.
is it the chef? Or, I don't even know.
Sometimes I go,
Yeah, exactly.
I do sound like a Muppet. My friend told me that the other day. He's like, you sound like a Muppet.
Is that what you called me a Muppet?
We both sound like Muppets.
I don't sound like a Muppet at all.
I've never heard Teresa sound like a
Thank
Muppet.
you. I just make a lot of
she
sounds.
looks like a Muppet.
She just gives tone.
I look like a Muppet.
That's a compliment. Muppets are
gorgeous,
awesome.
darling.
gold.
My mouth just
dollars.
Okay, we're going off track again. I think we need to rein this in.
We do.
It's time for Teresa.
Teresa's character ranking.
I love that because it needs that epicness.
Yes,
Nice.
Michael's at the bottom.
as we know.
Yeah, but we do have someone new at number 1 this week.
Wow.
Whoa, sun's been dethroned.
So as the intro to this segment suggested, Michael is still at the bottom with negative 1,395. And no, he did not lose any points from the time he was doing God knows what with the thing over there.
That's just, I mean, it's not
One scene.
Okay, the reason that I bring this up is we watched it together, as you all know. I think we mentioned that. We all watched it together. And you know the scene where Michael is doing something with someone and putting something on the something? The raft. These two were like, I wonder how many points Michael lost this time. I mean, maybe he wasn't holding it right, or maybe he wasn't putting it on right. The commentary, you guys. I cannot wait until we have video in season 2, because then you will see what these two do to me. Anyway, Shannon's at number 13 with negative 805. Kate is at number 12 with negative 495. Then we have Boone rounding out the bottom 4 with negative 5. Now we're going in the top 10, and they're all in the positives. We've got Jin at number 10 with 35. Walt at number 9 with 205. Jack with 400 at number 8. Saeed at number 7 with 420. Sawyer, very close, but still ahead, with 425 at number 6. Claire, 455 at number 5. Charlie, 580 at number 4. Now our top 3, we have Hurley at 665, taking our number 3 spot. And then we have our Queen Sun, 825 at number 2. And our current ranking, Locke, with 845. Someone
That's
tell Rory.
interesting.
Rory's going to be so impressed when he listens to this.
That's
it's
interesting.
his dream.
He did go up. Sun didn't get any points, so
Well,
like
she
it's
wasn't
not
in
hard.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Locke
Okay.
went up. I loved his Lockism and his story.
Did Michael's points change though? Oh, okay.
He didn't gain. He
Fair.
didn't lose.
Fair,
He did
fair.
nothing. It's not like the sight of him makes me want to deduct points immediately all the
I'm
time.
not sure that's accurate.
No,
I will be honest, if I was doing character rankings, the sight of Kate would make me do that. So I'm
know.
not judging.
I know, especially when she's flawless in the episode. What do you do?
I like how you're like, Kate was like negative 445 or whatever. But earlier, like, flawless.
I said flawless in the episode. She went up.
Okay.
Okay.
She went up. She
All
went
right.
Thank you for your rankings, Teresa.
She went from negative 160 to negative 490.
And you know what? I haven't updated the Teresa's character rankings in a while. I should do that because there's going to be some good movement.
Yeah.
Check
I
out our
love the rankings of
our
our
Facebook
episodes.
page. Please go to our Facebook page.
You mean Sun? Our queen. She does a lot of movement. To the top.
She's
Straight to the top.
She's prolific.
All right. I think that brings us to the end of the episode. So,
Should we
how
do
did
our own ratings?
Yes.
So that was a really good voice, by the way.
Kipperoonie, what do you think of episode 16, Outlaws?
9.1.
Wow.
Whoa.
It was a really good episode in the sense that we learned a lot about Sawyer, who's an integral character in the show. The flashbacks leaned heavily into on-island mystery. We got a little bit of the on-island mystery and mythos with the Whispers, which, you know, I love the mystery of the island. But also it really like opened up the... what Lost is known for is the connections. And like the connection of Christian Shepherd in the bar with Sawyer is going to become such a huge thing. And the connections of the show, like, I mean, there's a graph online somewhere that shows the connections, and it's wild because there's so many connections everywhere. And that's what Lost really become known for. And I think that this episode really encapsulates that so well.
I agree. I give this episode, actually, I think IMDb's spot on. I think it's an 8.5. I love Sawyer episodes because I think Sawyer does have one of the most interesting backgrounds. I think he had, like I said, I think when you see it, his psyche becomes a little bit transparent. But I think he's a very interesting background. I think you see Sawyer grow a lot throughout the episodes, and so I like to see his backstory. I agree that the kind of him hearing the whispers adds to this mystery because it's like, especially when we see that it's connected to his own backstory. So it's like, why are they whispering to him? Why are they whispering to Saeed? Is it real? Is it in their heads? But how is it in both of their heads? Yeah. It does kind of add to that. And we just see a little few background things that are really cool. I like that when he's in the bar, there's AFL, which is the Australian Football League, playing in the background. It just shows you again that this show is so good. Nothing is by mistake. So when people start to shit on it and say things like Lost does this and didn't do this, it's like, no, this is a very well thought out and well executed show. And this is just another example of how that can be.
I'm going to give this an 8.7. What I really liked is that this episode really showed that you don't need all of the like action to keep an episode compelling. I liked his flashbacks. I liked that you saw kind of like the growth of Sawyer from being traumatized to being, you know, quote unquote a badass, to not being able to kill someone, to doing it, and then the immediate remorse on his face when he you know, kills that guy. And then just the interactions on island too. Like, I think everyone's kind of giving up a lot of their wisdom to each other, and we're seeing a lot more interactions that we don't normally see. We don't really see Saeed and Charlie interacting that much. And it was nice to see kind of like a happy, hopey-ish ending to, you know, a pretty emotional episode.
Agreed.
Yeah. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Amanda. I think that wraps up for today. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Let's Get Lost with your favorite Oceanic 3. And please like our Facebook, like our Instagram. If you feel so inclined, join our Patreon. At only $3 a month, you get exclusive access to behind-the-scenes information, behind-the-scenes audio clips, some hilarious moments that happen, like a spider attacking us.
And, of course, access to Spoiler Island, where for our fellow Lost lovers who love to know our thoughts on some of the greater themes and issues around Lost, we talk about it there, so we don't ruin it for our listeners who are watching for the first time. So, as usual, we thank you for your support, and we cannot wait to talk next week about In Translation, which I think our resident Sun lover will enjoy, and she may even regain the top spot.
Sun is side up.
We shouldn't put that kind of pressure on the rankings. Come on now.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let's Get Lost. Be sure to tune in next week wherever you listen to your podcasts and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at letsgetlost.pod. Links to our website and Patreon can be found in our profiles. Join our Patreon for only $3 a month for exclusive access and content like Spoiler Island. Be sure to get lost with us again next time.